are jihad, we are Hamas. What's going on? Who are these people? What are they saying? What does it mean? And why is cker, the Council on American Islamic Relations, sponsoring a Hamas jihad rally in downtown Miami, right across from the Israeli consulate? What is that all about? Well, very simple. Cker is Hamas. Don't ever forget that. As we go through this show, we're going to analyze the jihad in Miami, deconstruct this rally, provide information for you that is essential in order to stand with Israel as she's fighting for her very existence. You see, those jihadis, sponsored by cker, on that corner in Miami, hold to a certain belief structure. They hold to the documents and doctrines of the Hamas. They've integrated those beliefs, the obliteration of Israel, into their thought processes. When you do that, you live and act in a particular way. How do they live and act? Take a look at this frightening and shocking piece of footage where these individuals, sponsored by cker is Hamas, attacked, assaulted, committed battery against one of our own cameramen. Take a look at this, then we're going to have a frightening show for you, but critically important. Check this out.
Okay, that's fine. You're not bothering me. You're not bothering me.
You have no expectation to not be filmed in public property.
That is correct. So have at it. I don't give a shit.
I want to kill you.
You're gonna kill me? Say that again.
I want to kill you, motherfucker. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea.
That's what happens, folks, when people believe the statements they're saying. You just saw an assault take place. And indeed, our cameraman has filed a report. An investigation is underway in Miami. We'll report back to you on what happens to that case. But right now, we're going to do an anatomy of jihad, because we firmly believe that if you understand the philosophical foundation as to what people believe, and then you recognize that they hold these principles dearly, you will see the actions like you just saw perpetrated against our cameraman. And this is a warning to America to be prepared for more of this violent activity in the streets of America as the war in Israel progresses or as Islamic jihad progresses worldwide. But right now, I want you to sit back, take a look at about a minute or so of the footage we have of this rally. Just get a full flavor for what's taking place. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to dissect each Arabic statement, weave it together, and the conclusions we reach will be shocking but necessary for all Americans to understand. Watch this. Allah loves those who die in jihad. Hey, folks, words have meaning. Words have weight. Words have implications. Words have action. When you hear Allah loves those who die in jihad, to a follower of Islam, to those individuals standing on that corner in Miami, this means to give their life as a shaheed, Arabic for martyr, is indeed one of the highest callings for a Muslim. So these folks are saying, we are ready to die in a holy war and become a martyr for Islam. On the corner in Miami. Now this next one, Jews remember cker. Check this out. Jews remember cker from the corner of Miami, Florida. What does this mean? Well, let's go back to 629 AD, about 1400 years ago. In the northwest corner of what is presently Saudi Arabia, there was a Jewish tribe in the town of cker, and they essentially were attacked by 2,000 Mohammedans. And because the Jewish tribe wasn't ready for war, they were farmers going about their business, and the Mohammedans, the Muslims, came and attacked them. The Muslims defeated the Jews in 629 in that area in northwestern Saudi Arabia. As a result of the victory, many Jews were killed, but the Muslims said, here's the deal, we'll cut you a deal. You guys can, if you want to stay, fine. You got to pay us a lot of money, like 50% of all the money you make goes to us. You got to follow all of our rules. Here's where the jizya, the tax, came from. Or you can get the hell out of Dodge, leave the area. And many Jews left. Those who stayed were second-class citizens. And Islam points to that day in 629 as one of the pinnacle days of military victories over the Jews for Islam. Analogously, it's very similar to what Hitler did to the Jews in the late 1930s, folks. And what you're hearing on the street corner in Miami is a resounding appeal to Hitler's actions, to Kaibar's actions, and the Muslims in America today telling Jews, we're going to get you, we're going to throw you out, we're going to kill you, we're going to defeat you on the street corner in Miami. Let's check out the next chant. With our soul and blood, we avenge you, Gaza. Folks, there can never be peace in the land of Israel. There's an obligation on the part of Islam, on the part of Muslims, to avenge with soul and blood Gaza. That doesn't end with a ceasefire. That doesn't end with a treaty. That only ends, as Hassan al-Banna said, when the Jews are obliterated from the river to the sea, on the street corner in Miami. Check out the next chant. Let's go Hamas. We are Hamas. We are jihad. You got to be kidding me, folks. On a corner in Miami, violent men making these statements unchallenged. We got a serious problem on our hands, and our desire is to unravel the words so that you understand the action. See, what we're doing in this show is establishing the fact that there is a doctrine, the Hamas doctrine. And right at the outset of that covenant is the call for the obliteration of Israel from the river, Jordan River, to the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. These men on that street corner, proclaiming unity with the Hamas and proclaiming their actions to be jihad, are the same men that are fighting the IDF in Gaza right now. But what does this mean? Well, we're going to show you. When you adopt doctrine and the principles of the doctrine for your belief system, it moves into action. I'm going to show you the action that these violent men took against our cameraman, who was simply standing in their midst, videotaping their rally legally on public right-of-way. Before you look at this video, there's a warning. There's some extremely rough language. There's some hateful language. There's some scary individuals involved. Here's what you're going to see. You're going to see extreme hatred for Jewish people. Our cameraman happens to be Jewish. They knew this. Number two, you're going to see a gang attack mode. Beautiful dynamic of how a gang circles an individual to assault or to attack. You're going to see increased anger on the part of these individual men. You're going to see them feed off of one another's angry levels. You're going to see them circle like wolves circle to attack their prey. You're going to see this in this footage in just a little bit. You're also going to see a unique age factor. You're going to see younger men and older men all joining in this assault that takes place. And you're going to see what we call a jihad gene, G-E-N-E, jihad gene, where at a certain point, because of the anger, the extreme anger on the part of a group of Hamas supporters who claim jihad as their action, you're going to see something almost take them over and have to go after the individual who upsets them by his mere presence. Watch this, then we'll come back and I'll explain it in detail.
Okay, that's fine. You're not bothering me. You're not bothering me.
You have no expectation to not be filmed in public property.
That is correct. So have at it. I don't give a shit. You're gonna kill me? Say that again.
I want to kill you, motherfucker. You and all Israel.
I'm going to effing kill you and all the Israelis. See, this is the kind of stuff that lit up our comment section on Breitbart when we teased a little bit of this footage the other day. Folks, this is happening not only in Miami, not only to our cameraman, but all over North America, all over Europe. The jihadis are agitated and they're violently implementing their doctrinal beliefs, the principles they hold dearly, and the action of jihad. Well, something has to be done about that, but something also has to be done about the organizations that are sponsoring these Hamas rallies, the foremost of which is the Council on America-Islamic Relations. They present themselves, cker does, as a moderate civil rights organization, when indeed they are a propaganda tool of the Hamas. Let me restate that. No longer is cker a propaganda tool. And America, you need to understand this. cker, the Council on American Islamic Relations, is in fact, de facto, the Hamas, proven in Miami in this piece of footage. There's other organizations that were with them. Students for Justice in Palestine. That's a leftist, pro-Islamic, pro-Muslim Brotherhood student group on campuses all over the United States, trying to interfere with the lives of Jews on campus. Another organization that was there was ICNA, sponsoring this Hamas rally, the Islamic Circle of North America. And then Amana. Amana is a Muslim Brotherhood-related entity that was one of the sponsoring bodies of this event. And there's a whole host of other smaller sort of wannabe jihadi groups that partook in the sponsorship of this horrendous event on that street corner of Miami very recently. I want to show you a little more footage from the assault, and then when we come back, we're gonna personally interview our cameraman who was the victim in this assault, who was standing there legally, lawfully, doing his job, videotaping in the public right-of-way. But first, look at this disturbing footage.
Red, this man is a Zionist. He has this scarf around his neck to try to blend in. He's filming us all so he can send it to his pro-Israel websites, okay? Just let everybody know he's not one of us.
The next piece that you need to really watch carefully is this older gentleman who assaults Damon mere seconds after there was an imminent call to who Damon was. Watch this.
Don't touch me. You want to go to jail?
Yeah, I want to.
You want to go to jail? Don't touch me.
Go to jail.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Sir, you were in public. You have no expectations of privacy in public. You have no expectations of privacy in public, sir. You cannot touch me.
You can't take my picture.
I can't take your picture. I'm taking it right now.
Now we're less than 1 minute into the activity where there's an imminent call to the Zionist and an elderly gentleman strikes Damon. Now take a look at this other guy who walks up to him and flashes him an obscene gesture. This is a guy who later on will threaten with death Damon. But look at this.
Take your picture. I'm taking it right now.
Here.
There you go. There you go. Just don't touch me, guys. Someone's going to jail. If I get touched, you're going.
Remember I told you the crowd will start to circle like wolves attacking their prey? Watch now as another guy comes up to Damon who's trying to simply say, hey guys, don't touch me, you can't do that. And they start saying, we can do whatever we want, we can touch whoever we want to. And he's struck several times. Check this out.
Simple as that.
Brother, I can touch anybody I would
You
like
can't
to.
touch me.
I can touch.
Don't touch me, David. Don't touch me. I know your name. Don't touch me. Don't touch my.
I got to draw your attention to the Amana man, American Muslim Association of North America, in response to Damon saying, it's okay to videotape, I have a right to do that. He says, no. To prevent problems, you have to leave. You have to leave. You, American citizen, on the public right-of-way, exercising your First Amendment right, has to leave our event because we live in the 8th century in another part of the world, and we're bringing that to your culture in America. Watch this.
I do have a right. I have every right to film you because you're in a public place.
No, but he's right. He's right.
No, to prevent problems, you have to leave.
You are in a public place. You have no expectations of privacy in a public place.
All right, now things really start popping here because there's agitation going on. That group gang mode I was telling you about, it's starting to surface. And usually those who want to exercise some sort of bravado come to the forefront. Watch this guy come up and say, you want to see my face? You want to get my face? There's a whole piece of video here where this guy comes up to Damon and then literally tries to take a weapon out and stab Damon, but he's stopped by somebody else. Check out this really bad-looking guy who's trying to cause problems. Check this out.
By letting you lose your cool.
We're not afraid.
Do not let
No, you see my face?
I see your face, buddy.
Okay, but don't fuck with me.
Don't
got
fuck
the right
with me.
You got the right one.
Okay, buddy. Touch me, you go to
Don't
jail.
fuck with me. Don't fuck with me.
I'm just telling everyone now, you touch me, you go to jail.
Oh, I'm going to jail. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to jail.
Okay, I was just pushed by this guy right here.
What did you do? I'll give back off right now.
I was just pushed by this guy right here.
You want to reinforce you? You want to reinforce you?
What are you gonna stab me with your pen?
You want to reinforce
Are you gonna stab me with your pen? You want to stab me with your pen?
All right, so far in real time, 3 or 4 minutes, Damon's been assaulted 3 or 4 times, one with a weapon. Someone got in the way to stop that. Now watch and listen to a direct threat to kill Damon. And remember, cker, the Council on American Islamic Relations, is the sponsor, the key sponsor for this event. And it's going to incumbent upon cker to manage their people. And we'll see what happens in the future regarding this assault as it relates to cker. But watch carefully as you hear one of the most direct threats on videotape I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, that's fine. You're not bothering me. You're not bothering me.
No expectation to not be filmed in public property.
That is correct. So have at it. I don't give a shit. You're gonna kill me? Say that again.
I want to kill you, motherfucker. You and the whole Israel.
All right, that's one of the most direct death threats I've ever seen, apart from the movies, in real life, on tape. And it's established that Damon is Jewish. So what we have here, folks, is a hate crime, a federal hate crime. That's what it's looking like more and more. We'll let you know how that turns out. But watch what happens now. This crowd was feeding off of the Zionist in the middle of them, who was there lawfully. Now they get together and start their death chants to Israel through proclaiming the Hamas and the jihad. Listen again to these chants in Miami, Florida.
Let's go Hamas! 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 We are Hamas! We are Hamas! We are Hamas!
Now take a look once again at one of the Hamas leaders who incites people to violence, coming right in Damon's face, accusing him of killing babies and all this nonsense. The symbolic irony here is these Hamas folks are literally assaulting Damon. He was hit, you're going to see several times in this next clip, and they're assaulting him carrying babies. And it's a beautiful illustration of how the Hamas operates. The men hide behind their children and their women to try to somehow implicate the Israelis in killing children. Watch what takes place here and understand the dynamic of how the Hamas uses women and children to somehow try to condemn Israel.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Occupation is a crime!
Occupation is a crime!
Killing babies is a crime!
Killing babies is a crime!
Apartheid is a crime!
Apartheid is a crime!
Genocide is a crime!
Genocide is a crime!
Free, free Palestine!
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 You're coming close,
Free
David.
Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
All right, that was our quick anatomy of jihad in Miami. Let's now turn to the individual who was in the middle of that assault. Damon, please take a moment and share your feelings, your thoughts, your experiences with our audience in the midst of that whole mess.
Yeah, Tom. Well, I could tell you when I left the house that day, I was expecting, a little bit of jihad gene to be exposed. I was not expecting to be threatened to be stabbed, have my life threatened, and I really didn't expect to see such disregard for the laws of this country. I warned these people numerous times that they could yell at me, they could tape me, but please do not touch me. That is against the law, and the absolute disregard they had for that was astonishing.
Thanks, Damon. You're doing great work. We'll follow your case as it goes through the police department, into the courts, and ultimately for a conviction against those who assaulted you. And folks, what do we know from our Anatomy of Jihad show today? Well, we know a couple of things. Number one, the jihad has come to Miami, unequivocally. Number two, Hamas is in Miami. Number three, cker, the Council on American Islamic Relations, supports the Hamas and the jihad, not only in Miami, but all over the United States of America. And the takeaway for that is that never again should any American view cker as a moderate civil rights organization. cker, as I've said, is the front group for the Hamas, now proven by their own sponsorship of this event and their own actions. cker is the Hamas, a terrorist organization. Number two, what does it take, folks, to come and stand against Islamic Jihad, against Hamas, against cker on the streets in America now? Places have been blown up in Boston, attempts all over the United States. Do we have to wait for explosions before we rally as Americans to stand against cker and the Hamas? If there's one person on a corner for the Hamas, there should be 100 Americans who hold to the Judeo-Christian worldview, to American principles, to constitutional principles, standing against them legally, lawfully, justly, not fighting, but standing in principle. If there's 10 of them, there should be 1,000 Americans. Get out, take a stand for Israel, for America in these days ahead. This is a defining moment in Western civilization. And I want to sum all of this up with a rally cry that we heard from the Hamas at this rally. And the rally cry was quite simple. It said, Hamas kicked your ass. Hamas kicked your ass. Well, what were they referring to? They were referring to a very tragic event that took place in Gaza just a few days earlier than this rally. We're going to put the pictures up of the 13 Israeli Defense Force soldiers who were killed by the Hamas. And in America, on our streets, Americans supposedly were praising the death of Jews on American streets because of Hamas doctrine, Hamas beliefs. Unacceptable, folks. And my admonition to you, Prime Minister Netanyahu, as you make serious and significant decisions to destroy the military capability of the Hamas, notwithstanding the absurd concern of the United Nations or the EU or our president or anybody, when you have to make these decisions deeply in your soul and your heart, remember the faces we're going to put up right now and the other soldiers who have given their all for the principles of Israel, for the principles of the West. Do not be swayed. Do not be swayed by the naysayers that want you to stop short of the complete destruction of the military wing of the Hamas.
are jihad! We are jihad! Hamas victorious! Hamas victorious! Hamas victorious! Hamas victorious! Hamas victorious! Allahu Akbar! We are jihad!
Think I'm scared of you in Israel? Fuck you in Israel.
Let's go Hamas! Let's go Hamas! Let's go Hamas! Let's go Hamas! We are Hamas! We are Hamas! We are Hamas! We are jihad! We are jihad! We are jihad! We are jihad!
We are jihad, we are Hamas. What's going on? Who are these people? What are they saying? What does it mean? And why is cker, the Council on American Islamic Relations, sponsoring a Hamas jihad rally in downtown Miami, right across from the Israeli consulate? What is that all about? Well, very simple. Cker is Hamas. Don't ever forget that. As we go through this show, we're going to analyze the jihad in Miami, deconstruct this rally, provide information for you that is essential in order to stand with Israel as she's fighting for her very existence. You see, those jihadis, sponsored by cker, on that corner in Miami, hold to a certain belief structure. They hold to the documents and doctrines of the Hamas. They've integrated those beliefs, the obliteration of Israel, into their thought processes. When you do that, you live and act in a particular way. How do they live and act? Take a look at this frightening and shocking piece of footage where these individuals, sponsored by cker is Hamas, attacked, assaulted, committed battery against one of our own cameramen. Take a look at this, then we're going to have a frightening show for you, but critically important. Check this out.
Okay, that's fine. You're not bothering me. You're not bothering me.
No expectation to not be filmed in public property.
That is correct. So have at it. I don't give a shit. You're gonna kill me? Say that again.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea.
That's what happens, folks, when people believe the statements they're saying. You just saw an assault take place, and indeed, our cameraman has filed a report. An investigation is underway in Miami. We'll report back to you on what happens to that case. But right now, we're going to do an anatomy of jihad, because we firmly believe that if you understand the philosophical foundation as to what people believe, and then you recognize that they hold these principles dearly, you will see the actions like you just saw perpetrated against our cameraman. And this is a warning to America to be prepared for more of this violent activity in the streets of America as the war in Israel progresses or as Islamic jihad progresses worldwide. But right now, I want you to sit back, take a look at about a minute or so of the footage we have of this rally. Just get a full flavor for what's taking place. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to dissect each Arabic statement, weave it together, and the conclusions we reach will be shocking but necessary for all Americans to understand. Watch this. Allah loves those who die in jihad. Hey, folks, words have meaning. Words have weight. Words have implications. Words have action. When you hear Allah loves those who die in jihad, to a follower of Islam, to those individuals standing on that corner in Miami, this means to give their life as a shaheed, Arabic for martyr, is indeed one of the highest callings for a Muslim. So these folks are saying we are ready to die in a holy war and become a martyr for Islam on the corner in Miami. Now this next one, Jews remember Bar. Check this out. Jews remember Bar from the corner of Miami, Florida. What does this mean? Well,